All right, so if you're like me and you don't like paying $55 a gallon for gas, going to the grocery store and spending $300 on 4 items, you're kind of wondering what's going on right now. Inflation isn't slowing down. We have someone new in office who preach.
They don't stop this onslaught of criminals and drugs coming into our country. I'm going to immediately impose a 25% tariff on everything they send in to the United States of America.
He called the best word in the dictionary a tariff. What the heck is a tariff? Tariffs are a tax on goods that are imported into the United States. Back in the late 1700s, the U.S. heavily relied on tariffs to fund operations, to fund itself. This is before the income tax, right? So one of the first laws passed by Congress, 1789, was a tariff to protect American industries. The most famous early tariff was the Smoot-Hawley tariff. This was back in the Great Depression. It backfired. If we go back and look at it, other countries retaliated, world trade collapsed, our Great Depression got even worse. If you're like me, a single parent most of my adult life, there's a lot of us out there that just really don't pay attention to this stuff. But when we go out and we see that every last thing that we're buying right now is more expensive, I want to just hit the basics on tariffs for the regular mind. I don't have the IQ of Einstein or anything like that, but I'm curious to know about this stuff because at this point, I'm a business owner. I'm the financial backbone of my family, so I'm just trying to learn. Everyone right now is freaking out about tariffs. Is the game plan to just have everything done in the United States? That'd be great, but that's going to cost a ton of money. We're never going to be able to have labor costs out here like we will in other countries. We're never going to be able to pay somebody $4 an hour to go build something for us. Overseas, we can outsource and we can get things on the cheap, make money, make profit for our business. But if tariffs keep getting slapped on these things that we are importing, what is that percentage of a tariff that would stop me from having product X made in this country at this cost? And I'm like, it's not worth it to outsource. That would be wonderful if the United States could just be mostly in-house. This past summer for my business, we brought everything in-house. We started doing our own marketing. We started generating our own leads, and we instantly saw the benefit from it. Now, is it a lot more work? Do I need more time? Do I need assistance? Do I need other people to do these types of jobs? Yeah. Do they get $4 an hour? Hell no. We could take the easy route here and just go outsource. But then someone else is making money off of my money, right? And if I'm owning a business, that's fine to an extent. But if you're trying to create a brand, if you're trying to build something, going in-house and organically kind of growing it, that's the way to do it. So I can see the benefit. I really can. But we're talking major manufacturing, steel companies, farms. I would love to jump in a time machine and check out Detroit when Ford and all these companies were there just thriving and building cars. And eventually it got cheaper elsewhere. If you're in the class of people like myself, I'm not a rich person by any means. We are on a budget all day long. We just had our 5th child, just had a baby girl. We're all watching our bank accounts, just little stupid things, subscriptions, dumb stuff that could save me money. So let's rip through a couple pros and cons of tariffs. Protects local industries. It's going to make imported goods expensive. Again, logically thinking, people would go in-house and maybe buy things from American-based companies. If we weren't importing and we were generating our stuff here, yes, it's going to be more expensive. The owner of the company is paying way more money for American workers and American materials than he would overseas. Plain and simple. Tariffs can be a bargaining tool that can pressure other countries into negotiating better trade terms. The cons of tariffs: higher prices for consumers. I don't think anyone cares about anything except for how much money we are spending at Walmart, at Target, right? The other con would be retaliation. We could get smacked around with some tariffs. That's not cool.
He's already dead.
The last con would be supply chain disruption. Companies rely on global parts, and if we're increasing costs, it just messes up the bottom line. It also affects the stock market. It affects our military and our veterans. Obviously, I work with veterans day in and day out. I hear the struggles these men and women go through on a daily basis with disability ratings, jobs, with housing. If something is going to affect the bottom line of services, goods, it's always going to affect our vets. Our veterans are civilians when they're outside or they're not active. So just like anybody else who's trying to watch their bank account, a veteran would be no different, right? But the only difference is that's a man or a woman who wrote a blank check to serve our damn country. They should have certain stipulations where they're not getting screwed. So with the stock market, you're definitely going to kill investor confidence. Most people that don't pay attention to the stock market have been watching it over the last couple of weeks. It's crazy how the word of one man can really just move the needle. Tech companies are going to be hit pretty hard if all these tariffs are to the point we've got to start making microchips in the United States. These companies like to make billions of dollars. They don't like to shell out unnecessary funds. Homegrown companies may benefit from it. You don't have the goods coming in from other companies. Tariffs are going to create a volatile market. I don't see how they can't. Take the president away from Donald Trump. The dude is a billionaire. This man knows finances. It's hard for me to fathom that this man is 100% wrong. If you like the content, hit subscribe button, follow us. We protect vets, timeless protection. My company safeguards consumers, mainly vets, through their insurance process. Do it with a very proven group. That way you know you're not overpaying or in the wrong plan. The military, how it's going to affect the military? Well, it's pretty simple. Every single subject we talk about here is things costing more money, right? So all the equipment in the military, all the electronics, the weaponry, the steel. Planes already cost $100 million to make. Imagine sitting in the cockpit of an F-22 Raptor. You're trusted with $100 million, taxpayer money. What if you go up and you light that baby up and you have to eject and crash it? Is that an awesome feeling of crash and burning $100 million? Or is it the worst feeling ever on planet Earth that you just crash a $100 million airplane? But if things are going to cost this much money, is it going to affect the amount of bullets that we have? I'm pretty sure we're sitting on a stockpile right now. We're never going to stop R&D. We're never going to stop developing weaponry, things that will keep our soldiers safe, things that will gather intel, things just that are next level. And there are things that we don't know about. When it comes to veterans, they're everyday human beings when they are done serving. These are men and women who live off the first and third of every month. If it's a vet and they have a service-connected disability rating, let's say they're rated at 70%, they're probably getting somewhere in the $2,500 range a month. The most a veteran is going to get full-blown 100% permanent total is just over $4,000. That's a decent chunk of money monthly. But if you're rated at 30% for some tinnitus and you have your state disability and Social Security, you are on a very tight income. Every last dollar of your monthly budget is spoken for on the first and third of the month. Now you're living 29 days out of the month flat out broke. If things get more expensive, you're going to be freaking out, right? Veterans don't ever want to leave a burden to their family members. Veterans want to make sure that when they die, no one has to pay for their cremation costs. No one has to pay for their burial. There's a fee with that because guess what? The VA doesn't pay for burials. The VA kicks in $2,000. The new plan from the VA, the premiums aren't some magical unicorn cost. They're pretty much dead even with the private market, and there's no coverage for 2 years. This is obviously where we step in. If a veteran goes and picks up this policy at the VA and they can get day one coverage, and now they go pay for this thing for 2 full years, they just threw away 2 full years of premium. $100 a month, $1,200 a year, $2,400 gets thrown into the trash before their policy kicks in. How does that make any sense? Veterans deserve proper guidance. They deserve transparency. They deserve to be spoiled big time. Tariffs and the economy at large here. It's the same old story. They're going to slow down trade, increase costs, and they're going to limit the choices for consumers. The global economy relies on import, export, and a whole lot of trade. And tariffs could kick that in the nuts. Are there benefits? Somebody hit the comments. Somebody throw all the benefits that these tariffs that Donald Trump is about to and already has rolled out. One thing I can say is he went to roll out tariffs and our stock market crashed. And then he went to pause some of it and the stock market took off again by moving the needle. That's insane to me. So are tariffs patriotic? Whether you're a vet, whether you're an everyday person, whether you're a business owner, tariffs are going to affect us without us maybe even knowing it, but they're going to affect us on a daily basis. The tariff on French wines, 20 bottle of French wine now costs $40. We put 100% tariff on French wines because we want our California vineyards to pick up the pace and serve more bottles and sell more wine. It would be good for American vineyards, terrible for restaurants, terrible for consumers. So tariffs to me at this point, as we sit here and talk this out, just mean we're getting kicked in the nuts financially. That's just what it's spelling out to me. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they play out and I make a video in 5 years. Holy crap. You remember that video I made 5 years ago? And I said tariffs were kicking us in the nuts. Well, now I'm older. My nuts hurt even more, but tariffs are awesome. They've brought so much business to the U.S. They've created jobs and warehouses, and I just don't see it. I really don't. Oil tariff from Canada, right? U.S. imposes 10% tariff on crude oil imports from Canada, even though Canada is the largest supplier of crude oil to the United States. A 10% tariff that would jack up gas prices 50 cents a gallon, 80 cents a gallon, whatever that would look like. That would hurt a family. If you add that up over the course of a month, over the course of a year, it's hundreds and hundreds and thousands of dollars. So they would respond with their own tariffs. And that's the whole retaliate with your own tariff thing. That's how this could all blow up in our face, just like it did in the 1700s. What made the Great Depression worse. I appreciate you guys checking in. Mike DeSecco, we protect vets, timeless protection. Teach me about tariffs. Teach me about what the heck is going on in the world today. I want to know. Let's talk about it. Shout out to my beautiful girl behind the camera right now. She had our baby Sage update. Sage wanted out. She wanted out 2 months early. She's happy. She's healthy. She's good. She's off her breathing tubes. We're going through it right now, but we still got to grind it out. We still got to kill it. And baby Sage would want dad working. Guys, have a good one.